I'm working on a small silk shade sample today. We fused this silk with some of our fusible stabilizer, and what that does is keep all of these yarns on the silk from stretching. So I've gone ahead and fused that, and the lining I'm using today, this is our classic napped sateen. It's 100% cotton, and one side is a nice sateen. It's a beautiful lining. It just really enhances the way all of your draperies look. Instead of using an interlining, sometimes we'll have a client that just doesn't want to pay the upcharge for interlining, but you have a fabric that you really feel needs to be interlined. Although this is not a substitute for an interlining, it is something that we can offer that will enhance the look rather than going to the expense of using an interlining. And the way this fabric is made, we've actually got one side that has a very soft flannel feel to it. That's the napped side. That side is going to go against your fabric, and then the side that we're going to show as the right side of the fabric would be the sateen. Now what I did here was I've got this shade already hemmed, and when you're making a Roman shade, it's really important not to move it off the table too much. The more you move it, the harder it is to keep it square. And I'm just going to give it a quick press. And you have options as far as your hems. What you can do for your side hems, you can go ahead and blind hem this, or you can hand hem it. Today I'm going to be showing you our iron-on adhesive web. And this is an adhesive tape. It's adhesive on both sides. It's actually adhesive all the way through. So you have to make sure that you never touch the iron to that. And there's two ways that you can actually apply this adhesive web. You can apply it directly to the fabric, and in this case you are not going to want to have the iron touch it. So we can use some of our silicone release paper, and I'll do a small amount here just so you can see. You have to make sure that the shiny side of the silicone release paper is against the adhesive, and I'm going to put it right up near the edge of the fabric, right near that side hem. I'm just going to do a small amount here, and you want to iron that on. And you can just go ahead all the way down the whole side hem. I'm going to let that cool before I peel the paper off. You'll be able to see it. The paper does get a little hot, so you'll want to be careful. Then you can just peel it off. And you can see here how it's shiny. This is actually, the adhesive has melted, and over here I haven't done that part yet, but you can see how it has a glassy, shiny look to it. That's the way you want it to look. If it is not properly melted, then it won't fuse to the fabric. Now that's one way to do it. But when I'm in the workroom and I'm making shades like this and I'm using a no-sew method, a really fast way, I pre-turn the hems and then I just tuck this underneath. And remember, as I said before, you want to make very sure that your iron never touches that. This is different from our iron-on bonding tape. Our iron-on bonding tape actually has a silicone paper already attached to it. This one does not. We'll go ahead and press that. And I just move along here and I make sure that I keep that tape close to the edge without peeking through. And this provides a nice strong bond. And with any adhesive product, one of the most important things you need to remember is to test your fabric, because not all fabrics will adhere in the same manner. And you have to make sure that you're giving enough heat and steam from your iron. Now before I move this, I want to make sure that it's completely cooled. If you have a problem with the adhesive and you need to remove it, you can always go back and run the iron over it and then peel it up. But it is difficult to get off. We recommend that you only use it where you know it's not going to be seen. And of course, none of us like to make mistakes in the workroom. Now what I'm going to do is, it's starting to cool, I'm just going to run my fingernail along there and make sure that that has fused. And if I find a spot that it hasn't, I'm going to have to go back and apply more heat and steam. And depending on the thickness of your face fabric, you may not be able to use a fusible. You have to make sure you've got enough heat and steam that penetrates all the way through the fibers to melt that adhesive.